So we're continuing the 26 steps to become a religious Jew, according to Orthodox. Number 17 is life cycles. What are the basic life cycles that we have to know what's going on from birth to death? Basically, the basic things that happens that are the main, most important moment or celebration in our life. So it starts with birth, having a baby. Birth is a celebration, obviously, everywhere, hopefully. And by boys, after 8 days, there's the circumcision. By girls, we don't do anything. We just celebrate that it's a girl, and we name her name at the Torah reading on the first day of the week that we read the Torah. If not, we wait till the Shabbat that comes, and we name the name by the Torah. We do the same with the boy, but only after. Well, actually, not with the boy. We do it when we do the bris milah, when we do circumcision. So it's usually a bigger party because it's a bris milah. Then the next step is basically the growth and education of the kids. At 3 years old, by the boys, there's the minhag, the custom. It depends which custom. Sometimes it's before 3 years old, but it's mostly accepted. The most important time where it's done, it's 3 years old. We cut the hair that we have let grown on the boys. The girls, we don't touch anything, so whatever they want, but it's no specific thing for the girls. And the boys, we let the hair grow, and when he's 3 years old, according to most opinion, we cut the hair, which represents the pruning a bit of the trees, because it says the man is like a tree, and we let the tree grow, a fruit tree grow for 3 years before taking its fruit. The idea is that we let the kid expand and grow, and at 3 years old, that's when we start cutting the hair, putting more boundaries, explaining more the mitzvot. They usually start putting a kippah and putting tzitzit. So that's a first step. There's a certain level of awareness and consciousness that they have already at 3 years old, and that's simple as that. Then the next step is really learning, growing, but then we have the bar mitzvah or the bas mitzvah. The bar mitzvah is the day when the boy turns 13 years old, and by girl is when she bas mitzvah. She's the daughter of a mitzvah. He's the son of mitzvah is when she turns 12 years old. By boys, usually it's common that they do a bigger celebration than the girls, but it depends which circles. But by Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox usually you just do something for the boys, and for the girls you do a very small thing. But it shouldn't be minimized. So what's happening at 13 and 12 years old? That's when they reach maturity, so to speak, when a boy is called a man according in the Hebrew language, according to the Torah, and a girl is called a woman. Why this age? Because the age of sexual maturity, if you could say so, or at least relationship maturity, where they can start understanding the power of giving and receiving, the exchange. That's the age where they can start having a real relationship with someone else, and because they can have a relationship with someone else, they can have a relationship now with God. They can understand that relation with God, just like we do with a human being, of giving and taking and being grateful for what someone has given. So the mitzvahs become their soul becomes now responsible for the world. We're responsible for our action, we're responsible for what we affect, the mistakes and the choices. The parents have less responsibility at that point, at least spiritually. And even according to halacha, a parent is not as obligated to provide for their kids from that age. But obviously it's common that we keep helping them, because in our generation kids are not as mature as they used to be. But in the past, at 13 and 12, they could already get married, already have children, and that's why we've seen many circles in the past, like especially by Sephardim, they would get married 14, 15, and they had already their first kids let's remember that they used to die much earlier, 30, 40 years old, because of all the sicknesses and the life span expectancy. So that's the bar and bas mitzvah, where you are responsible to do the commandments. The women's commandment for the girl and the boys' commandments for the boys. Then the next stage is dating. Dating and finding a soulmate. The ideal age is 18 by boys, but it depends of obviously the maturity. Today, 18 usually they're not ready unless they were trained really well, and by girls usually also 18 and more, 17, 18. Then we date until we get married. The way we date in the Orthodox circles, unless you have known someone from the past that you have intention to marry. So the different actually things by Hasidim and very ultra Sephardi, very old Sephardi, I'll say, traditions. The parents choose for the daughter or the son, and it's an arrangement as long as the kids don't feel meaning they see each other at least once, because according to the Jewish law you have to see the person you're married, because they have to be pleasing to your eyes. You have to be attracted to a minimum. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not, the parents don't are not careful enough, and they're forced it on their kids for political, economical, or social reasons, and that's very wrong. And that's why there are sometimes a lot of divorce in that type of arrangement. But the idea is that we date for marriage. So you're gonna meet someone. So nowadays we have actually what's called shatranit, people, usually women who find matches, a matchmaker, and we date based on a certain level of compatibility and background, and usually the same background is better, and they date, and then after a few dates they decide if they're gonna get married. The more modern the circle of Orthodox Jews, the more they take time dating. But Ultra-Orthodox, it takes 2-3 times, and they have to decide. By more modern, it takes 6 months, a year, sometimes 2 years. So it depends. But we date for marriage, for the purpose of marriage, not just for fun. Same thing with sexual relations, only in the marriage, under the marriage, only if they are married, basically. I'm losing my English word tonight. Okay, then beside the wedding, after the wedding, we grow whatever. There's delivery. There's like we spoke about birth, becoming parents, and the parents become responsible to provide for the kids and teach their kids what they need to know for life, so they become independent. And eventually comes the time for death, and death is where, well, I'm not going to explain all the wedding things, these different things, but there are a lot of different traditions for the weddings. But basically, for what you need for a wedding is 2 witnesses. Usually you have 1 rabbi to do it. It doesn't have to be a rabbi technically, but if you wanted to do it really the right way, you have to know, because you can miss the marriage, meaning not be really married according to Jewish law. So if you want to really get married, you need to have a rabbi who knows the laws, and you need, at least the most important is 2 kosher witnesses, meaning 2 witnesses that you can trust, who are religious, and then you need another 7 people beside the rabbi and the 2 witnesses in order to have 10 people to be able to do the Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings, the wedding. So those are those are the marriage thing, and then you have death, where there's a special ceremony for death. We even prepare the person who is about to die with certain prayers, saying Shema Israel, the vidui, confession, and then there's a whole cemetery ceremony. And those are the basic life cycles. I don't think I forgot something major, but those are the main things that happens in the life of a person, and may we all experience all those incredible moments, except death, at least not before 120 years old. Have an awesome life.